It's here. It's finally here after almost a month. I will, of course, get my own book, and it's just that it took a very long time to get here, since around mid-May. But it's finally here. So I'm glad because I am about to read a subchapter from this book, just so you can get a little bit of a teaser as to what is involved in this really nice, thick paperback book. Now, as mentioned in one of my previous videos, if you are a paperback reader only, you will get access or the option to meet with me virtually along with the other paperback readers as well. And I will reveal more information on this in this video. But first, it's time to give you a little bit of a teaser into what I've written. The subchapter I'm going to read comes from chapter 3, Artistic Development. And it's going to be the fashionable trend of dropping out of school. All right, with art schools aside, let's discuss the oh-so-fashionable trend of dropping out of said schools, or any school for that matter. Personally, I have not done such a deed, but I am sure you are aware of all those famous entrepreneurs and business tycoons who did, and then went on to make a big killing in their markets. This is where the buck stops. Reader, I hope you are aware that the media only highlights success stories of dropouts, and that just because someone chooses to drop out of school doesn't immediately make them the next big thing since sliced bread. In fact, what lurks underneath the surface of all those success stories you hear of dropouts are piles of bodies, bones, and corpses. To elucidate, I am referring to the tens of thousands of failed entrepreneurs and business owners who also dropped out of their respective schools. No one ever talks about those, and why would they? Those stories don't make people feel good and do not guarantee that people may ever return to their news or media outlet to read about other people's failures and bankruptcies. Besides, everyone loves a good story about the hero who defied all odds and came out victorious in the end. Objectively, there is really nothing wrong with dropping out of your school to then pursue the arts or learn the craft of visual effects on your own, whether through experimentation or online resources. It really depends on who you are, what works best for you, and of course your tolerance for footing expensive tuition bills on your own accord. Needless to say, there will always be pros and cons to any decision you make, and dropping out of school is no different from enrolling in one. A major pro that comes with being a dropout is most definitely the time you have now freed up for yourself to focus on your own personal growth and artistic development at your own pace. Instead of attending courses and classes that have zero appeal to you, you can now concentrate your efforts on those few areas that do matter. Instead of being forced to learn art history or 3D sculpting with recycled materials, you can now work on improving your visual effects 3D modeling and texturing skills. The opportunities to develop your artistry are boundless with that extra time. And yes, not having to pay expensively to learn from an accredited institution could also be a major benefit if you are taking out loans to foot the tuition or are living on the fringes of destitution, or both. That being said, the cons are also present with the decision to drop out of school. For one, it may reflect poorly on your ability to finish things, which could also affect how you are perceived by studios or employers. Yes, I understand it is completely biased, and you may be wondering, how could they judge me this way? Me dropping out of school just goes to show that I know what I want and don't take no crap from others. Well, yes and no. You see, visual effects studios, and to a certain extent Hollywood, are not part of the startup or tech community where people brag about dropping out of Stanford and Harvard like it's a legitimate degree from those institutions. Visual effects in Hollywood are more on the artistic and creative side of things, and their reverence is for people who can finish and deliver results pertaining to film and TV. They may not care where you get your skills from or whether you dropped out of school or not, frankly. But if you choose to make being a dropout a bragging factor, then you won't really be sure how the studios or producers will perceive you as a person to work with. They might see you as someone who doesn't finish what they start. On this point, it is far better to err on the side of caution. Also, let's not forget that if you were in art school and took out a loan for it, you are now without a degree and stuck with mandatory debt that you have to pay off. A lose-lose situation, in my opinion. Throughout my own journeys and forays in the visual effects world, I have encountered artists from all walks of life. Those who actually completed a master's in visual effects and went on to do exceptionally well as a particle effects senior artist, for one. And those who dropped out of high school or art school and went on to do exceptionally well in whatever their visual effects specialties were. Unlike mathematics where 1 + 1 is always 2, without being creative with the equation there is no singular path to developing yourself as an artist in the visual effects world, or in any artistic realm for that matter. It all depends on what suits your style and your learning preferences. Don't let anyone convince you that schools are a waste of time and money if that is the route you really want to pursue. And don't let anyone tell you that dropping out is for quitters if you truly believe that the uncharted path would serve you better as an artist. Just be smart about it and know yourself well. Resist the urge to blindly follow others just because that's what Steve Jobs did or that's the school that Bob Iger graduated from. Not everything is about one side versus the other. So that is a subchapter from chapter 3 of this book. A total of 13 chapters if you don't include the forward. Forward is written by a visual effects veteran, worked on Stuart Little, Spider-Man Homecoming, all those awesome movies. So yes, that is a sneak peek of what's inside this really thick book. Again, paperback readers. Now, on that note, so basically anyone who has got a copy of the paperback book, basically starting July, at the end of every month starting July, you all will have the option to meet with me virtually to talk about the book or stuff like that. So you can ask me anything. It's basically like a personal Q&A, AMA. Ask me anything about the book, visual effects industry, stuff like that. For those who want to do this, who want to meet with me virtually, first you have to show that you have a copy of the book, the receipt date. You can blank out your personals if you want the receipt date, copy of the book, picture, and then of course email me. Website actually linked, and I believe my email's in the book, so you should have that. Let me know that you're interested in meeting with me virtually and we'll set things up. So whether you are an individual or there's a group of 5 or 10 people, it doesn't matter. It'll be every month starting July. So if you bought a copy in May or June, you qualify in July. And then of course if you buy in July, August. So yes, again, more information will be in the description. I hope you enjoyed that quick snippet. Again, it's available all over the world as an ebook, print, audiobooks coming out soon, still being reviewed. There you go. Why I do visual effects, the untold truths about working in visual effects. I look forward to seeing some of you paperback readers in July.